with the plight of the world and 95% of horses not in good shape out there, what advice would you give to the average horse person how they go about finding a competent
Oh,
equine dentist?
yeah.
How do they know what to look for or when it's right, when it's wrong? Like how are they to figure that out?
I mean, I think it's hard, and I hate to say it. Like, I'm not trying to say like all horses are unwell or anything like that.
Mm.
It's not like that. It's just I just think that we can do so much. We can do better. Like we can continue to do better with them for them. But I I don't know. I mean, I used to just say like go through Spencer's school and find a practitioner through there, and I have sometimes given people like a list of different things to ask about. Um you'd want to start asking some questions and maybe educate a little bit yourself if you can somehow. Um like, will your practitioner be adjusting the front teeth or only the back teeth? Um, will they use a speculum or not at all? Will they uh, tie your horse's head up, or will they be standing in a neutral position? Like, those are some things you could start to ask. Are they going to use sedation or not at all? Um, but I think that
What
just
would be some red flag answers to some of those questions? Like if you hear that they're going to do this run for the hills, in your opinion, what would be some oh no's?
um like if the person says that they only use power tools and heavy sedation and they're not going to adjust the front teeth at all, that I would be uncomfortable with. Because if they're not going to adjust the front teeth at all and they're going to power float the back teeth, then over time there's very likely going to be some imbalance there. Um, and if the person isn't going to use a speculum at all and they're just, no, I'm just going to do this the natural way and reach back and float some sharp points off, and we're not going to use any sedation, and the horse's head is up in the air and their eyes are bugging out of their head, like that's kind of the other end of the spectrum that also is not a fantastic option, I don't feel like. So I think that it can get as good as we can start to ask some questions like what does the alignment look like to you? Like how do you think my horse is moving? Like do you think that you can help this be more comfortable for them? Um, we can even kind of go beyond like what tools are you using, or how is the process done? But like what is the result of the process? And maybe start to ask like even like how is that going to be evaluated or quantified? Like, are you going to keep records, and how are you evaluating their movement? Because even certain things like I know some people check the occlusion by like pushing the jaw up into the maxilla and then kind of sliding like from side to side. And that's not a natural movement pattern for the horse. So it gives us relatively little information about what their natural movement and occlusion patterns are like. They don't, that at minimum, it shows us like how they occlude when they're actually moving out in the rotation, which is not how they chew. The teeth would normally come together first with the cutting edge and then slide across if they're chewing as they're coming back up to the center, in that pattern of movement. So that would be what I would be like listening for, in terms of what is that pattern like. And you can start to hear more and more subtle things auditorily, in that pattern, and then observe which direction the jaw is coming from and how it's moving, and how the tongue is moving. Like, is the hyoid tight? Is it all really choppy and rapid, or do they have like a solid, relaxed, consistent, rhythmical deal going on there? So, like, I would hope that eventually we can get kind of a little bit further like that, where there's more specifics even.